What up? What up? It's your boy, Mr. Squaretown. Welcome to Squaretown Talk. Today we will be interviewing actor, composer, conductor, filmmaker Quinn Alice. Give us a little bit, trying to figure some things out, but we will be on the way. I'm excited about this interview. She's coming from a long ways, but I'll let her tap in once she gets in and let you guys know what's going on. So just give me a second and we'll get back to it. We're trying to figure out some stuff. But I am your host and welcome to Squirrel Town Talk. And we're back. We're still working on some things. You gotta love this technology and thing it can be a gift and a curse. Since a lot of times I'm interviewing people from out of the country, different countries and stuff like that, makes things a lot harder for us to connect. But we ain't gonna let that stop us. So, like I said, we are continuing on, and let me see what we got. Yeah, we're just gonna continue on. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning in, that's been showing a lot of love. I really appreciate it. Posted a couple things in the last day or two. I finally got some well-deserved plaques in the mail. One is a Billboard Top 100 plaque. We hit number 24 on the pop charts. Oh, looks like we got somebody that just I can't see them. Where are they at? Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Are you here? Can you hear me?
I am. Finally.
Oh, okay. I can hear you. I can hear you. Let me see if I can get you on here. That's a new one. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can blow you up. There we go. And she is here. You need any extra time or anything? Are you good to go?
Just a second, because I've had to change device.
Okay, let me switch you off. And I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad that you were able to come on. I was just telling them about how difficult this technology can be sometimes, but man, and you coming from where? You coming from? Australia?
Yes. So I'm in Australia. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, across the pond.
Yes. Have you ever been? Have you ever come to visit?
Not yet, but I'm excited about. I want to travel the world. I've traveled the states, and I've been over to Mexico, but I haven't actually traveled the world yet, and I will eventually. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited about having you on and learning more about you and your journey. So, do you need any more time, or can we go into like your bio?
I think we're good to go. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let me start off with the bio. All right. I can get it going. I had it, of course, when I have it. All right. Okay. I'm just going to go. All right. And there. Okay, it's a high-dimensional human, artist, visionary, and passionate lover art critic called Love. Born in Melbourne, Australia, to a regional town where her childhood climbing, burying herself in historical novels and concerts and love retrofuturism. Also an international model competition participant. I didn't even know that. In 2019, Quinn was invited to model celebrating the release of the critically acclaimed film Filmmaker. Rosalie Ham, film director Jocelyn Morehouse, and costume designer Marion Boyce. Quinn's love of film through the books she read, or of which were period dramas and centered films. Her talent for acting
I think Squirrels, you've dropped out. Are we back?
recognition and critically acclaimed. So, and then it says Quinn recently received her first award as Best Actress in Italy, as well as Athens, Greece. So, as male, and only powerful. Wow, that is a lot. Maker, but I didn't know roles that are going on right now. So tell us a little bit about, other than what was read, how you got your like what you want, who you are today.
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Ever since I was really little, I always was drawn to music and film and the arts.
Mm-hmm.
And as you saw in my bio, I didn't grow up around a lot of opportunity like that. I grew up in a town of about less than 1,000 people. So when you have acting dreams and ambitions, you pretty much have cows and trees to practice to. And it's not a very realistic dream. So I sort of put it aside for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it enabled me to build really good imagination. And I think that's been a gift. So I ended up going into nursing for a while, actually. And so I've been a nurse for a while. And but I feel that has contributed to my success, at least thus far, as an actor, because it's given me such insight into the human experience. So for me, that also was a gift. But coming into acting now, being older, I think I just appreciate it so much more for what it is, the craft that it is. And I came to it, as you read, quite serendipitously through a radio interview, really. I'd done a little bit of film school before that, how to operate a camera and lighting classes, editing, a bit of directing, and always wanted to get into acting, but still wasn't quite ready to accept or acknowledge that yet. So I actually put it out to the universe and said, if it's meant for me, somehow we'll find a way. And sure enough, I met an author of a book at a radio interview. I was there being interviewed for something that I had done musically, and she was there talking about her book. They asked me to stay on the channel a little bit longer. We got talking, and at the end of it, she invited me to her book launch the following week, and then asked me to be her younger self as the lead role. So that's how I fell into it. So the pressure was really on, because I hadn't had professional training or anything, so really thrown in the deep end.
what person who the story was based on, play her role about it. Oh,
Absolutely. What?
let's see something.
Am I bad?
Let's see.
I can still hear you. Hello.
Okay. Got it. Looks like it's. Okay. So she can still. Okay, there you go. There you go. Up like that. That's weird. I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, I was pretty sure it was an honor that the person who the story was about you actually play.
Yes, absolutely was. I mean, handing your life over to someone else to tell the story for you, that's a big trust fall, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So I am humbled and grateful to have been given that as a gift. And I think we certainly felt the universe was with us on this one. I don't know if you believe in synchronicities of the universe, but the way things unfolded and flowed, it was just incredible. It was really meant to be. So I do believe in putting things out to God or the universe or source, and it's amazing what comes back to you. And of course, doing it with pure intention and with love and coming from a place of authenticity. And sometimes it can take some time, but it does find its way back to you. So it was an absolute gift being given that film and to tell the story. It was also such a powerful little story too of she was actually homeless and living on the streets of Sydney at the time. So do you know the Sydney Harbour Bridge?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Well, she used to sleep under the bridge when she was in her teenage years after she got cast out on the streets. So,
man.
And I was playing her, and there's scenes of me in the film of me sleeping in a drain and getting food out of a bin, and pretty confronting stuff. So very much an honor.
Sounds like an interesting movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a short film or is it just like a?
Well, we wanted to make it a feature. Originally, it was actually going to just be a trailer because of time frames. And our director of photography, Zachary Peel McGregor, he's phenomenal. He was on a really strict timeline. He had to get to New York for something else he was filming. So we didn't think we were even going to be able to make a short film. But we managed to get it to a short film at least. Would have been great if we got a feature out of it. It deserves a feature. But we got a short, and it's won over 60 international awards, which is pretty incredible, and we're very grateful for every one of them. We don't do it for the awards as such, but it is nice. They're like the sprinkles on the cake, really.
Yeah. It's good to have, just to say that you've experienced to not only be nominated but to win awards. So tell us a little bit about like getting ready and preparing for this role.
Absolutely. I found that I naturally gravitate towards more method acting. I think I'm quite a spiritual artist, so I tend to spend time in that character space, and I actually ask the character to tell me what it needs, and that seems to work for me at least, and maybe not for every role, but I certainly think for this type of a film that was divinely inspired. But I believe in also going by intuition and not making overly too many logical choices when it comes to acting. I think instinct and intuition together can really deliver an impactful performance. So I actually spent some time living in some hostels, which
really?
Yeah, and had some adventures doing that, I can tell you.
Yeah. I bet.
I even started learning French from a French stripper that I met in a hostel there. uh,
So you learn from a stripper.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's how
Hmm.
it's done, right?
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I've heard actors like in order for them to or to get like in depth with the have to go boundary. Is that true?
I think so. I think it depends on who you are and your approach, but certainly for me, I like to make it really embody that character and
Mm-hmm.
basically disappear myself into it. Not entirely. I think there's always a little bit of you in there, but
Yeah.
I like to disappear into my characters. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
morph into them. So I call myself a metamorph for that reason, where I morph in and out of the character. Yeah. So for this character, I had to shut myself down because I'm quite a sparkly person normally. So for this
Mm-hmm.
one, I really had to condense myself down, and I also was aware with this film, as much as it's based on one individual person's true story, it's
Mm-hmm.
also representing many other stories of people who've experienced child abuse and domestic violence and homelessness. So
Yeah.
it it felt I certainly felt a level of responsibility in that too, that I did justice to the stories and um, painted it in a light that's as authentic as you can get in a short film. So yeah,
Yeah. And so you've done this um, short film that you've done. Tell us a little bit about the Say My Name.
well, so that is Say My
That
Name.
is that. Oh, so that is it. Okay, let
Yeah,
me
yeah.
look at the other. Okay,
It's, so I'm
sleeping
also
under that.
yeah, that's part of the same. So that's what the film's based on.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Um,
So tell me, prior to doing this role, prepared role. I mean, not only has not only has it one sounds like it could possibly move into something else bigger and better. So what other things have you done to prepare you for being in a role like this outside of going to hostels and talking to learning French from strippers and I like
I like to keep it. I like to keep it classy.
yeah, yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Look, we had a great time. And I nursed actually in the same hostel. I think one of them in particular, there was a room, there was 10 beds. I've never done this in my life. I had no idea
Hmm.
what to expect. And there was a girl there from Japan with a broken leg, and the stripper had hurt her ankle from stripping the night before. And here I was also nursing them because I used to be a nurse.
You know what? You
So
can make a movie out of what the experience
I
that you had
know,
at the hostel.
I know, I know. And to be honest, though, like I wouldn't be in a rush to do it again. But I had the time of my life, and I met some incredible humans. I met a lady from Germany as part of one of the opera companies over there in Munich. You never know who you'll meet in these places,
Yeah.
good and bad. Uh,
Right. Right.
uh,
Wow.
but going back to preparation, I also spent some time with the author for Say My Name as well prior to the film. So we actually went and stayed somewhere on the south coast of Sydney, and
Hmm.
I'd read her book, and I spent time. I'm also a composer, and so I actually wrote a soundtrack for every chapter of the book before the film
Wow.
was shot, and then I showed her that, and I think that also just further cemented her trust in me that I understood the assignment. Basically, I understood what the story was to be and the
Yeah.
direction she wanted it to go in. So
Hmm.
yeah, we just spent time in deep and meaningful conversation, talking about some common trauma experiences that we've had, um, talking about what our visions and goals are with it, and what it would mean to us, and impacting other people, because we both came in with a vision of inspiring people somehow through it, as well as making a good film. So so I spent time doing that. But since then, I've also gone on to do some master classes. So I've done some with some folks in LA, and I've been over to visit LA. I
you
love it over
have?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to Hollywood and Beverly Hills.
What do you think about the Hollywood Boulevard? It's different, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting place.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, the juxtaposition of the homeless community living there, and then the rich and famous. It's kind of quite a conundrum, that. But I actually have some funny stories of being there in Hollywood as well. I had a homeless guy pay for my meal when I was there.
Wow.
It was it just came out of the blue, and it was the way it unfolded. I couldn't refuse, and we actually spent time together, and I got to know a bit about his story, and then he just disappeared, and there you go.
Like, all right, yep, nice meeting you.
Yeah, it was weird, because I mean, I initially refused and said I'll pay for you for lunch, because he clearly wasn't,
right,
in fine form. But the guy at the checkout just said, "Just go with it," and
I mean, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. So he paid for you to eat lunch to listen to his story.
I think so. And it was like another little wink from the universe that I just done this homeless film, and it was just like, thank you or something, in a weird way. But I know I like it over there. It's certainly got its pros and its cons.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And you're by Melbourne, kinda?
So I was born in Melbourne, and I lived in Sydney for quite some time.
Okay.
I'm not in Sydney at the moment. I'm actually just a bit out of Melbourne.
Oh, Melbourne, huh?
Yeah.
So which one is bigger?
Back to the state. Which one? Oh, Sydney. Oh, actually, it used to be Sydney. I think they're about the same now.
About the same. Okay.
Melbourne's growth has skyrocketed in the last few years.
See, you don't really hear a lot about Australia. You never hear anything bad at all, but you never, people here, they don't really talk about it enough, So I would like to know, from you, with you being an international creative, how do you get people from all walks of life, all over the globe, to know about Quinn Alice?
Yeah, I think coming from Australia, I've realized that we are a bit isolated over here, and especially coming from small towns, getting your work seen and putting it before the people in Hollywood and having a chance is pretty difficult. Yeah. And so you have to be very persistent and just be very dedicated and just throw yourself into any opportunity. I'm very much that sort of person. I also cultivate my own too. I like to feel like I'm not just taking from the industry, I'm also giving back. So I'm working on some of my own films at the moment too.
Wow, okay. That's what I like to hear, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I've heard work over in LA at the moment's quiet for a lot of the industry, especially since the writers' strikes and the actors' strikes. It's still taking a while to get that momentum back. So in the meantime, I'm just going to keep working on writing some of my own work and working with other creators and filmmakers. And but the aim is certainly to go over there again in future. I love the States.
Yeah. I want to get over there too, because I've heard it's beautiful over there, and I want to see a kangaroo just jumping around, just kind of what you see on the movies. I want to see, like Kangaroo Jack or something like that. I want to have that hat on, and maybe even square up with a kangaroo. I've seen a couple videos where you just don't get in front of them. You know what I'm saying?
No, they are strong. You would not want to get on the wrong side of a roo. when I was over there in LA recently, or
Hmm.
last year it is now, I told my Uber driver that I used to ride a kangaroo to school.
And he or she probably believed it, didn't they?
He actually did, and I laughed and laughed and laughed, and then I had to explain that I was, of course, lying. But
Right,
then
right,
I
like,
and then I said you should go visit. It's a great place to visit, and he said I'm going to have to now.
yeah, most definitely. So my question would be, social media over there. How important is it, with your career and all these different things that you do? Like, how important is it to keep up on social media and keep up on the times, being a global creative?
Yes, social media is really where it's at. It's how you network. It's how you connect. It's how you keep in touch.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there's amazing platforms out now, and different things that you can use to enhance your work and to collaborate with others. So for me, social media has certainly been very, very helpful for that. And
Mhm.
I would advocate that anyone else struggling to get their career going, or not sure if they're coming from a place where you are remote,
Mhm.
uh, use social media to your advantage, and just, learn to love the beast, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and make it work for you and with you. So certainly for me, social media has been fantastic as a tool. So
Mhm.
yeah, I
So
uh, I also realized, I think, when I was in the States, that as a country we are just so remote, and a lot of people in
yeah.
LA have never been to Australia. We still have a long way to go in connecting that bridge, I think, because Australia has so much to offer, and we have
Mhm.
so much talent here. We have beautiful film locations. The culture here, people are welcoming and kind, and
Mhm.
I just think my aim, certainly in my work, is to help promote Australia and keep pushing it forward in a global setting in film. I'd like to think that down the track, at least, I could have some influence with that, because we deserve to be there. And I think
Absolutely.
we've been like the younger sibling to the rest of the world for a while, and it's time
Yeah.
that we step up on the podium and start celebrating our artists more, and
Mhm.
cultivating more of that community here, but also be celebrated by the US and by Europe, as a
Yeah.
worthy contender and even collaborator. So,
Absolutely. Well, and
mm,
it's all about collaborating, globally. I tell artists all the time, you don't want to be this local celebrity. I would rather be a global celebrity. I would rather 10 people globally know me than half a thousand people know me in my city, because you can do more with it when you're globally. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
When you do it on a global spectrum, you can just do a lot more. And some people don't understand that. They just don't. With that being said, you're actor, composer, conductor, filmmaker. How important is it to be, put your hands in different things instead of just saying, no, I'm just an actor, or I'm just a composer, or, how important is that?
Uh, I think for me, because I've come from the musician background first, being a classical musician and then merging that into more contemporary music and then composition, that already was there. So the acting's an
Hmm.
extra to that. And I've always had ambition in making films as well. So for me, having that multifaceted approach
Hmm.
keep, keeps me engaged, and it keeps me a lot more appreciative of the film industry at large too, and making sure that everyone's heard and everyone's role is important. Like, I personally feel the film crews do not get nearly enough credit.
They don't.
No, and like, even as an actor, I've been a lead actress, and I see, I'm the face of the film basically, but I'm
Hmm.
standing on a tower built by amazing filmmakers and artists, and I
Right.
wouldn't be there without them. So it truly is a
Hmm.
team effort, and I'd like to think moving forward I can keep promoting their work too with that, because yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we're all so important in the industry, no matter
Hmm.
what. your role is, whether you're a runner or a gaffer or a, you know,
Yeah. Well,
actor.
they may see your face accepting the award, but they don't know the team behind your face. They don't know the people that had to wake you up and say, "All right, we got to get up. We got to filming today," or the person that's been mentoring you for the last, umpteen years, or it's just so many pieces to it, and that's why it's always a team effort. When you guys done filming the new movie or new short film?
I was meant to be filming actually this coming month in June, but I think it's been pushed back to September, October.
Hmm.
So not filming at the moment, but preparing for filming. And
But
then
even with
another, yeah.
yeah, what I was gonna say was even with that, it's like if people knew how many pieces of the puzzle it takes to do a short film, do a documentary, do a feature, they wouldn't understand because they only see, like you said, they see you accept the award, or they might see the film, the writer or the director maybe accepting something, but it's just so many hands that are involved, and everybody needs to get credit for it, like you mentioned.
I agree. And I always love and appreciate the actors who do get up and reference the team and the casting, the rest of the cast and the
Hmm.
crew who help make the film, because yeah, I think I think we're getting better as we see more insight into behind the scenes on social media. Times past,
Yeah.
the general public didn't have access to that, so you just sort of see the face of the film, and somehow it magically all got there. But now we're seeing that no, it's truly a team effort. And
Hmm.
I mean, even working with the director of photography and Say My Name, Zachary, he taught me so much. And even as a filmmaker, just the processes and things. And
Yeah.
he's got quite an impressive filmography actually to his name. And
And what's his name again?
Zachary Peel McGregor.
Zach.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
I
would
have to look him up.
recommend him to any other filmmakers out there who want an incredible cinematographer. Uh,
Really?
yeah, yeah. And his partner Agnes Peel McGregor was also our editor, and she's a mentee of David Lynch, the director.
Mm.
So we had some amazing talent in the film, and I feel honoured to have worked with them. And the director as well for this film. It was her
Hmm.
debut film, but she uh, was also great to work with.
Yeah.
So we just all really came together, and yeah, I feel very lucky.
I'm
And it just
excited to see it. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Like when do you think when are they scheduled to release it?
So we're having a screening and a red carpet event actually in June in Sydney, but the actual release of it I think is sometime later this year. So,
Hmm.
but I'll keep everyone informed as to when.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, because I'd love to see it.
yeah, it's quite an emotive little film. So yeah, it's had quite a few people in tears. The people who have seen it through private audiences thus far, and more private screenings. So
Mm.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
just hope
don't
it.
get me crying during this short film. I'm quick to tear up on a good movie. I'll tear up real quick. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when you know it's good though too.
yeah. I'm the same. I'm so soppy these days. I'll cry at the drop of a hat. Uh,
Yeah.
Even like the sweetest bit of music, and I'll just be a mess. Yeah,
So
but
going into that, how hard is it? Because I've heard this before from actors. Because what's funny is that I've interviewed a lot of actors, but how easy or how hard is it to drop a cry?
I find it easy. But I have to, again, if I'm really in character,
Hmm.
I naturally just fall into that. So
Yeah.
we have a couple of scenes in Say My Name as an example, where I
Hmm.
actually collapsed down in front of a mirror because I was homeless and um, basically abandoned by the world. But I really felt that in the moment for real. So it wasn't fake crying. We didn't have to wet my eyes with something. We put on we applied an eyeliner that we had intended would run. So when I did
Mm-hmm.
cry, it would give that dramatic effect of just pure grief and misery,
Uh,
and
yeah.
that symbolism of what that represented. But those
Mm-hmm.
tears were real, and I really collapsed down in front of the mirror. So for me, I
Mm.
can just go there. With other things, when I've been developing that during like a masterclass or just my own
Mm-hmm.
practice and training, I think sometimes if I just remember a certain scene or something that really moved me in my own life, that can take me there. So if I'm struggling
Yeah.
in the moment, yeah, I've got things that I can think on, and then it just tends to come naturally.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm deeply emotive like that. So for me, I think that's quite an easy thing.
That's impressive because I've talked to, and shout out to, he's an actor by the name and a film writer by the name of Freddie Robinson. I did a tabletop with him one time,
Mm-hmm.
uh, where I was playing a character, but he was telling me, and I'm going into the question I'm going to ask you: how important is it to continue education on like learning different formats and taking master classes and things like that? How important is that for an actor that's continue to like strengthen their career or further their career?
I think they are important. I think it's good because you get to network, you get to establish and build other connections. And to be honest, that's really a lot of what filmmaking is
Yeah.
connecting with people. It's you're telling stories, you're sharing the human experience. So therefore, masterclasses and other things like that can be really good um, for forming good connections with people. But
Hmm.
yeah, so I've been learning some other styles of acting. I've been most recently looking at Shakespearean acting and classical acting, and it's very, very different to my natural approach in acting.
Hmm.
But it's all helpful, and I think it's also good, even if you as an actor naturally are more drawn to one style or one method or technique. If you have an understanding as to the other techniques like
Hmm.
Meisner or Stanislavski, you can also know how other actors act and what their training's been when you're working with them, and then you know a bit more how to respond to them too.
Yeah.
So I think it's certainly got its multifaceted benefits.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's always good to add more tools to the toolkit. You never know when there's something that, even just a word of wisdom that someone that
Hmm.
you're sharing that scene with or something might have, and it just puts something into perspective for you that helps with a roll down the track.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good not to get caught up in you have to be trained. I think you can get. I've seen some actors where they're just obsessed with must be trained and you must be classically trained. And coming from a
Hmm.
musical background, I certainly saw that in musical circles where, if you don't have a PhD in music or something, uh,
Mm.
you know,
They don't want
you,
to look at you. Yeah, they don't
yeah,
want nothing to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's like, no, there needs to be a good balance between a healthy amount of education and classes and learning, but also trusting yourself and trusting the intuition
Yeah.
and trusting your own human experiences that you've had in your life. As I said, for me, nursing was really good for helping me get insight into so many different types of living and people's lives.
Right.
And I've spent time with people who are dying. I've spent time with people with babies being born. I've
Hmm.
spent time in conversation, traveling all around the community with people, and you learn after a while the commonalities and fundamental things about what it means to be human. And so
Hmm.
from that, already being naturally more artistic, I've been able to gather that and then cast it into my acting roles and
Mm.
my filmmaking and even my music. It
Yeah.
informs my music as well. So
It makes
yeah.
sense. It does. And like I said before, I interviewed him and he told me about continued education on the acting part and how he would sign up for different classes, kind of like you. But before then, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that, like exactly what you said, I thought that they expected you to have that training already. And, once you have it, you have it, and you don't have to worry about ever doing it again or trying to further yourself. But yeah, like you said, that's very, very important in any field of work. So as far as newer projects or anything that's upcoming outside of your new short film, what else do you have in store for this year and possibly next year?
So I have scored a few other short films, so as composer. I'm also with the Australian Guild of Screen Composers, and they're doing great work at the moment in promoting especially female composers, because we only make up about 13% of the industry, which is terrible.
Wow.
So they're doing some work on promoting other female composers, and I feel lucky to be connected with them, and hopefully keep promoting women's work in film. And also, as we said, crediting composers properly too in film. I feel the music so often gets not enough credit for the influence and impact it has on storytelling. And something that I like to do, that I've been developing since I've gone into film, is actually working with directors and screenwriters early on in the filmmaking process as a composer, because it can help influence the script, and then the script can influence the music, and so together it can come in as a package deal. And then once the actors come into it, you've already got a good idea as to what the script is. You've got the script and you've got your music script, or music, at least the crux of it, and that can help actors as well make more informed choices as to what emotions to tap into. So I don't know if that's a very common approach, but I found that's been helpful in some of the films that I've been working on and I'm going to keep working on. So it certainly helped inform Say My Name and how the story unfolded, with the music being written alongside the script. There's an Australian director called Baz Luhrmann. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's directed Elvis, the film Elvis.
Oh, the newer one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've seen that. That was a great film.
Yeah, he's also directed Australia and Moulin Rouge. So he's an amazing director, but he's the same in this way, actually, where he likes to try and work and have the music side of things working parallel.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. It's like a smoother process. It sounds like it would be a smoother process if you can do things together like that and everybody's on the same page. The writers can write as you compose. Yeah, that all sounds like it would go better hand in hand that way.
Yeah, rather than the music then being just slapped on at the end and then you get a tiny little credit somewhere in the like, no, we deserve more credit, because as musicians we are storytellers as well, and it's very impactful through sound and song and sound waves. So don't underestimate your composers, filmmakers.
See, you hear that? Y'all hear that? All right.
We can make or break the story.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like you said, storytellers, poets. I mean, they all, musicians, artists, creatives. We can do so many things. We're not just like confined to one piece, one role, we can do so many. Like, you can start off as being, like you said, a musician, and then transitioning into an actor, and now a composer, and now a conductor. So it's just, there's no limit to what we can do. Lastly, go ahead.
I think just with the way that the film industry is going, I think it's good having multiple skills and tools in your toolkit. And, it also just helps you appreciate what other people do in their jobs, even if you don't do that other thing, whatever it is, whether you're not a director or a producer, but at least have an appreciation for what everyone does. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think that can help it work more cohesively. And I hope the film industry does pick up again soon. They're saying 2025 is meant to be a better year for it, hopefully.
I hope
Uh,
so. Yeah, I hope
yeah.
so. Cause I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I just spoke with someone and they said that they had canceled one of the award shows that normally goes on. I just couldn't believe it, you know. So just with things like that, hopefully things can break through. We can get back to normal, you know, start making some more films. Cause the more creative we will be, and of course, the more money that people will be able to make,
Yep.
even though it's not always about money. That's what pays the bills. That's what takes care of, helps takes care of us. So the last thing I would ask is that for any inspiring, aspiring actor, composer, conductor, filmmaker, um, like what type of advice would you give them if they were just getting started?
Firstly, just make sure you believe in yourself, because you have to be a friend to yourself first and know who you are and know why you want to do it first,
Hmm.
and then go from there. Because in anything in life, there will always be rejections and fails and things. I mean, we're learning.
Right.
It's, to me, I don't see a fail as a fail. It's just a feedback mechanism. You know, just keep going,
Hmm.
keep adjusting the levers and keep going. Don't let anyone tell you no. Just keep believing in yourself. And um, meditation, I would absolutely say get into meditation, which is part of looking after yourself. And
Absolutely.
and I think even the director David Lynch is quite an advocate for transcendental meditation, and that can help you engage with different ideas and different parts of yourself that can be really useful in informing your characters and your acting,
Mhm.
and music, or whatever your department is in filmmaking or music. Um, so because yeah, I think we are all interconnected, and
Yeah.
you know, you can always expand yourself, and then the things you have to offer through your film and music and your story is so much richer because of it. And keeping an openness and willingness to learn and to listen, I think being a good listener is really good, because
Absolutely.
yeah, we live in a world that likes to project so much. So if you learn to listen, it's amazing what you can learn about yourself and others, and then again put that into your work in a way
Hmm.
that's more authentic and impactful. And yeah,
Yeah.
so ultimately just believe in yourself, and don't ever take no as an answer. There's always a way.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that one up because it's a guy by the name of Cyrus Rogers that always told me that no means not yet. He said that's all it means. He was like, no
Mm-hmm.
just means not yet. He was like, if somebody tell you no, that means not yet. Take that no answer ever. And you know that's like some of the most powerful advice that I've ever gotten from somebody. And what you just said, everything you just said was those are words of wisdom. So people that are listening and watching, like she just said, everything she hit on, everything that makes a lot of sense in this world. So yeah, we want to thank you for your time. What time is it over there? You said
It
11,
is
almost 12
now nearly midday here today. Yeah.
midday. Well,
What about
yeah,
you? It'd be close to 9?
yeah, it's close to 9. It's 10
Yeah.
minutes to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
Uh-huh.
you know, like I said, we want to thank you for this interview. I want to thank all our listeners and viewers for tuning in. Where can they find you at on social media or anywhere else? Where can they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at the THE 3 underscores Quinn, QUINN. You can find me on Facebook as Quinn Alice. And you can find me on my website, which is www.thequinn.art. And I'd be happy to connect. And if there are any other musicians or filmmakers out there as well who, want someone to connect with from the land down under, I mean, feel free to reach out. The land of Oz.
I like that. Yeah, the land, use that one. I will say before I get off here, you have probably the most professional list I have ever seen.
Oh,
Creative, like I'm looking at y'all, I gotta get my stuff together. Like my website is terrible, So
well, I can happily help you. I actually built it myself, so if you need a hand. Yeah.
I seen it in all the accolades. Yeah, you did a wonderful, so I commend you for that. Yeah, and like I said, I can't wait till is it Say My Name, right? I want to make sure it's the right. Yeah, Say My Name. The short film comes out. I'm very excited about that coming out, and I want to check that out. And I just think, I mean, just with your attitude and your energy, you just got a lot. And with you staying busy, that you got a lot ahead. A lot of success ahead.
Thanks, Squirrels. I really appreciate that. I appreciate talking with you today, and the work you're doing in promoting women in entertainment. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Like I said, women are very instrumental to the success of the world. Not just men, not just women, everybody. Like you said, humans. That's where it starts. We all know this. So, but yeah, we appreciate this again, and for everyone who tuned in, yeah. Also, and she has her own website that it is make bad again, Quinn, and like I said, we will most definitely talk in a few. You try to do a interview this year, next year, to see how everything's going.
That sounds amazing. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Well, have the rest of the day.
I will.
And
yes, look forward to it, Squirrels.
All right, have a good one. And thanks for tuning in, and check us out next time. We got interviews for the rest of the month. So we'll talk to you later. Have a good one, y'all.